Welcome to People in the Boxes. Yeah, I guess I messed that TV up this time. So, speaking of which, it can happen in many ways, guys. Internal, external. They can be connected in a lot of ways. They can cause other things. Yeah, that's definitely wrong. I'll fix it. They can cause other things to induce this topic of discussion. If you didn't read the title, tonight's discussion is on trauma. So it's going to be a heavy topic, guys. People in the Boxes, episode 96. Bring it on in. It is May 30th, 2024, guys. May 30th, 2024. I'm gonna fix this here while we're talking. And, People in the Boxes is always meant to be a show to help everyone that maybe doesn't feel like they should share or they can share what their experience has been on something. That's what this show is for. So it's for people to get perspective, and the only way to get perspective is to gain more points of view. And you can't do that. You can't usually do that by yourself. I mean, you can, I guess. I shouldn't say you can't, but it's definitely tough. So, guys, bring it on in. If you could hit that like button, share us out. We're going to do a giveaway, of course, and we're actually going to do another wheel spin on the subscriber wheel. We've got other things planned for you. It's going to be fun. But tonight we got Kim with us from Legit Bean Review Remastered. Thank you, Kim. I'm going to let you say hello, but I'm going to put the link in the comments for anybody that wants to come up on screen. So let us know, guys. So, Kim, what's up? How are you?
I'm fucking exhausted.
Kim, this is where you lie and you say, well, it's great. Well, I'm loving it. It's great.
Yeah, I'm not one to lie. When people ask me how I am, I say, do you want the truth or do you want a banal pleasantry?
Yeah, but you're almost there. You're almost there. You can taste it. You can taste it right now.
Yeah, tomorrow we have half a day and then I'm done. But I'll tell you what, man, the last couple of days, I want to quit. Like, I wish I could retire. I've got 3 more years before I could retire. I want to quit. I am so disillusioned by our education system in my state. And it has wreaked havoc on my personal ethics. And it's a bitter pill for me to swallow.
Yeah, I can imagine without you having to get into too much of it. But I think, and speaking of trauma in general, we're going to look at the specifics on it. But I think I always like to talk about the topics as we already know them, because we might be wrong. And then when we talk about them for a little bit, then we look up some definitions, right? I think that's kind of fun, because when you get everybody's perspective and you're like, well, I thought this was, what do you mean? And so that's fun. But what I'm getting at is that I think traumatizing situations can happen behind the scenes in any industry. That's what behind the scenes means. Like, you get to see, the gears of what's really happening, and that can be pretty demoralizing over time, I feel like. Right? I mean, I don't know about trauma necessarily, but you've probably seen enough that it's just sapped your soul.
Well, I deal with students coming in my class that have trauma, that have been traumatized or that are going through trauma. 2 of my little girls this week came to me. The first one came to me a couple of weeks ago, and she said, Miss, my mom kicked me out last weekend because she found out I was gay. And we've gone through great lengths to keep that covered up since she was a freshman, because that was her reality. She knew. And so her mom somehow found out and kicked her out and wouldn't let her have her clothes or anything. And it was just a big old thing. And then a week later, my other little girl that's on my caseload, those are my caseload kids that I case manage in special ed, came to me and said, Miss, things are not good at home. And, I need advice on how to handle it. I need to know what to do. So, just, it's tough, because these kids, you develop relationships or rapport, or whatever you want to call it, with these kids. And these kids I'm a lot more intimate with because they aren't with me just an hour a day. These are kids that I know their families. I work closely with them over 4 years. I know them. And so they come to me with their stuff. And so,
Okay, but that raises a question though, and I know you're gonna say that. I mean, you know them differently, but take uh, my perspective here, I guess, with a grain of salt. How often, and maybe not even your kids, we'll just take your kids out of this, but how often do you think children happen to figure out that they can do that and like manipulate the staff to, you know, like say they got grounded one too many times and they just got annoyed and they wanted to say, oh, because there's a lot of cases where kids will falsely claim,
oh yeah, my son used to do that shit. That's called gaslighting. My son used to do that shit to his teachers. I can't tell you how many times I was a single parent raising my son who has, that was in special ed. He was what they called back then behavior disorder. And he used to go to school and tell his teachers, who are mandated reporters, you are in every state. And if you don't report something and whatever, then you can lose your teaching license. So it's a hefty penalty. But he used to go to his teachers, and it was every single week. I had this woman come from Children, Youth, and Families to come inside of my house to look to see if we had food and we had electricity and whether there were any signs of abuse or neglect, and there never was. And the last time she came, she pissed me off. Like, I had friends that were social workers and they didn't like her. They called her the Gestapo because she was a bitch.
Yeah, that's a pretty big, like, that's a stereotype for the social worker that comes in. They just want to find shit wrong in your house, and they just
not all of them are like that.
Maybe not, but I've heard that tune before. That seems like a kind of a reoccurring,
Yeah. Well, this lady was like that, and one day, the last day she came, she knocked on my door, and I said, again, and this had been ongoing for like 3 years, and I said, what is it this time? And she said, whatever. And I said, you know what? I said, get out of my door. I said, if you want to come in my house, I said, I'm sick and I'm tired of this. If you want to come in my house, you come back with a search warrant. And I shut the door in her face and I went on with my life, and I never heard from her again. But so, you do have kids that do that shit, and it's not up to me because I'm just a teacher. I'm not an investigator. I'm not a social worker. It's not up to me to determine safety or the truth of what they're saying or not. That's for CYFD to go in and do their investigation and figure out what's going on and whether there's a need for some kind of an intervention. So, and I have some kids over time, over the years that I've done this, that I knew that they were, conflating things.
Lisa. Sorry, go ahead. I'm trying to keep up with comments too. I'm listening, I promise. But yeah, but the conflation sometimes I think can happen from the staff at schools too. So no offense.
Oh yeah.
But they can sort of, like, I don't know if it's out of a desire. Sometimes I think it's subliminal. Sometimes I think they don't understand. They don't actually. Sometimes a lot of adults don't understand that they're doing something that they're doing, obviously. And sometimes and we can take it out of the teaching world altogether. but there are reasons for you to succeed in your field, no matter what field that is. So if you're the guy that repairs stuff, hey, if I, find a little something extra broken, you know what I mean? I get an extra job, and like, I'm not saying everyone does that, but my point is, like, there is an incentive in every field to give yourself a feather in your cap, give yourself extra work if you don't have enough, that kind of thing. Right. And so sometimes I think that can be all it is. I think people like to pick out certain fields and like, I hate that, like police or like teachers or politicians. It's like, just imagine every single profession that has a lot of those same issues, right? Some of those professions have more like say in what's going on. Like, I'd say teachers are a large influence on us through our formative years, right? And then of course politicians have a large say. So like, I'm not going to go argue about the, company head of some company that I don't use their product, you know what I mean? But I would say that almost every field has something like that, and I get it, you're probably getting that burnout, but I personally think it's a good idea for people to go out and try different things. Maybe not like constantly job after job after job, but you know what I mean? Like, have a multi-field kind of a attitude. Like, you were a teacher in an actual school setup, so now you could go and like teach something outside of school, like like some kind of other thing. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I've only been teaching for 24 years, and I was in the military. I had jobs when I was in high school. I worked at Caballo Lake State Park. I used to register.
What was your favorite thing that you did
boats
outside of teaching? Registering boats?
When I was in high school, I registered and inspected boats. Boats have to be inspected for water safety. You have to have like a state registration. Every state you go to has a thing, kind of like cars. And I used to inspect and register boats when I was in high school. I had a lot of responsibility. And
that could have been fun though too, right?
It was interesting because I'm from New Mexico, and where I'm from, we're very close to the Texas border. And so you get a lot of Texans coming in, and, my dad's family are Texans. So like, I'm not prejudiced or whatever, but Texans have a particular way about them. And so they would come to our state and they would get all pissed off because they had to register their boat in New Mexico. And it's like, You're not in Texas anymore. And they would get belligerent about it and my rights, and I'm an independent Texan, and
I think you get that too with fishing licenses. So you have to go get another fishing license over here and over there. And like,
it's all that stuff.
Check this out, Kim. We have Diana, or am I reading? Is that Diane? I apologize. I'm pretty sure it's Diana, right? Anyway, she says 50 years ago when my mom sold me, nobody cared what happened to me.
Yeah, that happened to my sister. My mom did that with my sister.
So it's one thing, adoption, right? But if the mother is making some kind of profit on it, right? Or if I'm not sure if that's what you mean, but that is, to me, that's rough.
Believe it or not, that practice was more common back in the olden days, I want to say. And 50 years isn't really that much of an olden days, but it wasn't that uncommon to do that with your kids. Like,
but I want to know how it works though, because I'm pretty sure it's about $10K to get in it to adopt. Maybe more now, I'm guessing.
I have no clue what it costs to adopt people, but my mom sold my sister.
You might know, this is live. We're public here, Kim. I don't know if you're.
No, I'm not ashamed of it. My mom did that. My mom did some shit.
What's up, Nikki?
Like, I can tell you stories. There's a reason why I have trauma. My mom was fucked up. Like, she had trauma. But she did. She sold my sister.
Oh, wow.
And
she was 22. Okay.
She, this was back in the 50s, though, when she did it. So she sold my sister. She was living in New Mexico. My mom's family's from Illinois. Mom left New Mexico, drove back to Illinois, took my sister, sold her, and then turned around and drove back to New Mexico. And my grandmother went and got my sister, wherever it was that my mom took my sister. My grandma went back and got my sister because my sister had been living with my grandmother. And my sister was about 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old when my mom did this.
Hey, I got her papers. She's mine now. Like, what? Like they hand over the birth certificate as the papers?
I
Like, how
couldn't
does
tell
that?
you what all transacted with that. Like back in those days, it was easier to do stuff like that because there was no children, youth, and families. There was no social, those kind of social workers. Like when I was growing up, and my parents divorced when I was 8, and my mom decided that she didn't want me anymore. She kicked me out of the house, and she told my dad. She said, either you come get her or I'm going to put her in an orphanage, because the foster care system didn't exist in those days. So
Right.
my dad came and got me.
Orphanage is what it was, right? Yeah.
Yeah, orphanage. So my dad came and got me, and I went to live with my dad. And my stepmom was an alcoholic, and she would physically abuse me. And there was just a lot of stuff. And then my dad would kick me out. And so I'd go back to live with my mom, and it went back and forth like that. And there was no system back then for kids. There was no welfare. There was no food. I think there were food stamps maybe, but there was not like a welfare system like there is today. My dad,
Yeah, it was like they would hand out specific foods.
yeah, they had like so my dad, we were upper middle class, was our social station. And when my dad left, this was 1974, when my dad left, my mom wasn't on the house. She wasn't on the car. She wasn't on the utilities. She wasn't on the bank. She wasn't allowed to have a bank account. She wasn't allowed to have a credit card. She wasn't allowed to have utilities in her name. None of those things. Like, women didn't have rights. All their rights came through their husband for the majority of women.
Okay,
And
you're getting off. You're getting away from. What do you? Where's the justification for the selling of the kids because they don't have rights? Come on now. Now you're bringing men into this. You're bringing men into the.
no, I'm not. I'm just saying this was the reality of my life. This is what
Yeah.
formulated me. I have a lot of trauma with that.
So,
And
do you
when
think it was better or worse, though? That's what we want to know nowadays. Now we have how many years of the sort of inverse. Now, I feel like there's a happy medium. I don't feel like men should beat their wives or whatever, all these crazy laws where it's like if you take her to the
that wasn't
courthouse on
my
a
point.
Tuesday.
That wasn't my point in saying any of that.
I know, I did. That was an
I'm
extreme
saying
of
that
the,
is that
right.
when my dad left, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and we had a very comfortable life. And we went from having a very comfortable life to my mom having a PhD in psychology. She was highly educated, and the best job that she could get in our community was waiting tables. And we nearly starved to death. We lived in this big,
Oh,
beautiful
I'm
house.
sorry. I thought you were talking about that dad oppressed mom or something like that.
No,
So she
no,
was. Did you
no.
think that did she ever try to remarry? I wonder.
She did. My dad remarried immediately, and my
Mhm.
mom remarried about 4 years later. And she remarried an alcoholic. And like, I have trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma.
I
My
have the
parents,
definition pulled up. We're going to read it actually real quick though. I have Dr. Rick in the backstage there, and I don't see his camera's not on yet, so I don't know if you can hear me. But I will wait until your camera comes up in case yeah, okay, it went away. So we have a possible guest to come up for a little while. I'm not sure how long we have him for, but I've had him on my show a few times. Dr. Olson. Um, he's a good guy, so he should have some good points to say, especially about the medical definition of trauma. So trauma is a noun, a deeply distressing or disturbing experience. A personal trauma like the death of a child. Number two is medicine, or medical definition is physical injury, rupture of a diaphragm caused by blunt trauma. you have blunt force trauma to the whatever. So that's one of the distinctions tonight, because I think for sure you can have mental trauma from a blunt force injury, like not just because it hits you in the head, maybe like an attack or a surprised injury that can traumatize you. You can have flashbacks, what we have PTSD, right? And I've had, trauma from situations where I didn't get injured, but it was a, very extreme situation. Like I can speak to mine at least, and that's kind of the point, right? To share what we've experienced. And one of the biggest things that like the biggest incident, I guess, because I had to, when I eventually claimed PTSD, it took me 10 years. I actually talked about this in episode 1 of People in the Boxes. Here we are, number 96. And it took me 10 years to even decide that it was worth going for, to even attempt, because I thought, oh, I'm okay. I have all my limbs, whatever. But it just, things that kept reoccurring and things that kept causing me issues, we'll just leave it at that. But the main situation that I had to like write a story about was an incident that, I mean, I still know the date of it, but what happened was we were driving down the streets in Iraq, and what I did over there is I hauled jet fuel. So I would drive an 18-wheeler with 7,500 gallons of jet fuel on the back. And so we're driving down the road, and we suddenly got an ambush. Right, we got ambushed. The thing that started the ambush, though, was right next to my truck. It was what was determined to be a mortar launch. So it wasn't a bomb that was sitting there. It came down, and it was a really big white flash. Like it was only a few feet off of the side of my passenger seat. I was driving, so I was on the other side of the truck. But it started with that. We didn't get hit or hurt from it. But as soon as that hit, then boom, you saw you had small arms fire, you had other RPGs. And if you guys don't know what's going on, we have a line of vehicles called a convoy. And so there are certain vehicles in that line that have bigger guns, we'll say. And I wasn't one of them. I'm just a driver in a truck. So I have my little pea shooter. And so all you can do while driving is you're just driving straight while you have your rifle out the window, like over your arm, just shooting at nothing. Like just laying down a little bit of something. There you go. Like whatever you got. And that's it. So it's like, that was just one of them. And I'll tell you the worst incident for me. And they was according to the government, the reason that I got disability status, or at least one of them, I have a bunch of physical issues that are like, sinusitis and headaches and all these other things. But all those things are stacked up, and that's fine. It does help. But the biggest thing was this PTSD, right? And so they'd linked it to this attack. But personally, that was not my most traumatic situation there. My most traumatic situation or incident was actually a vehicle. Well, I don't know if I want to. I guess we got time. I know Jason said he's going to be coming a little later. I don't know if Melanie's going to be here, but Dr. Olson's still in the backstage. I'm waiting to see if he might be working his technical issues. But I'll try to be super quick about this little story here. So I don't know if I ever told you this story, Kim. So we were driving, or no, back up. So what I had was a unit that would be out no matter what the route, danger was. So the route danger was different colors, red and black, and it's like we still had to take fuel around different places. And so we ended up being working with a bunch of Marines that are out west. I was in the Army. Marines needed more drivers, about 3 or 4 hours west from where we normally lived. And so they started to rotate soldiers out over there to these Marines and help give them some drivers and stuff. And I don't know if any of you are Marines out there. Hoorah to those Marines out there. But Marines, you hang out with Marines, like all they want to do is find a fight somewhere. No offense to y'all Marines out there, But woo, but so what happened was I'm gonna pack up this Brian Williams glass blowing uh, Sherlock here while we talk. But what happened was the first time this is a story about the very first time I went off of the military base at nighttime in Iraq. And it's significant because of a lot of reasons, but the biggest reason is that in the desert there's nothing for your headlights to bounce off of, and you might not realize this, but the reason that you can see things with light with a flashlight is because the light is reflecting off of something.
Right.
If there's nothing there, just a just a dark abyss. And so it takes some getting used to. You have to look at just the road right in front of you, or using GPS and stuff. What's up, Chris? What's up, everyone? I'll get back to the comments here in a minute. We're deep in thought. If you guys want to come up and share, the link is pinned. Welcome for anyone to come up. Anyway, the first trip off of base was this. A convoy gets on the base right before dark that had just been ambushed. And they had left one tanker, and this was a civilian driving a tanker. We had a bunch of civilians from America that would go to Iraq and work and get a lot of money for doing it. They wouldn't get weapons for doing while they were driving, but they could drive and make a ton of money. And so they had to leave this tanker. It had been hit, and there was fuel gushing everywhere. And they get back into base. They organize a rescue party to go back and to retrieve this tanker of fuel. So they get a wrecking vehicle, which is like a tow truck, basically. They got like two 7-ton trucks that have a bench where they can fit 15 Marines in each one of these trucks. So there's like 30 Marines in this thing. They're just ready for something. They're like, let's go. And they also got a bobtail semi truck, which bobtail to the unknown person out there, or there's another term, but my point is the bobtail means a semi truck without the trailer on the back, right? So we were the ones, me and one other guy, were the elected lucky guys, and we're driving this old like World War II, like just one of the oldest type of off-road all-wheel drive bobtails. Like this thing, big chunky tires, like it's a tractor, not a over-the-road semi. This thing has 6-wheel drive. And so you get going fast, and that thing is loud as fuck. You can't even talk to the guy like down the bench in the passenger seat. You're like, yeah. So then one time this happened. Like that's about as best as you can have conversation. Like way louder. My point is, we're driving down the road. It's black, pitch black, no radio to the rest of the convoy. And this one single truck comes towards us from it's a civilian truck. We called it a Haji truck. That's what they did. That's what they called it. So it was a truck from the civilian local truck, and it comes up next to or comes towards us. It's a 2-lane like highway, very skinny, like the thing you're just got like a foot drop off to the desert right next to it. And so he comes our way, and he passes by my truck. And the most perfect timing that you've ever had in your life. I mean, if it wasn't on purpose, pretty sure it was. But the back doors on this truck come swinging open, and the back doors on this truck are not like the semi trucks we have that have like doors that open like this. The doors over there are top and bottom like a barn door, right? So they go like that, and this like steel door, the length, so the full width of the semi comes swinging open, and it skips right above the hood of my truck, like it just perfectly. And keep in mind, guys, I'm driving a 981 A2, which is a like World War II or maybe Korean War, anyway, old AF truck that has a rag top. There was not even a hard cover on this. It was a soft cover over the cab. right? And so there was basically barely a skeletal structure that was holding this cab together. And I get slammed with this steel door going. I mean, I don't even know how fast we were going, but the truck was going the other direction. So that's even faster. That's you have to double the speed, or you have to take both speeds into account to know how fast this thing slammed into my windshield. To rip the mirror off, windshield was shattered, all up in my clothes. There was a little piece of glass left on the edge of the windshield that I was like able to still see while I was driving, you know. And when this happened, all I could do, the only thing I could really do was look over at my co-driver. I'm just like, like it's like what else? Like we couldn't even speak. It was even louder. So it was already a loud ass truck, and then wind is just right there in your face. We didn't have goggles on. It was nighttime, and so then we just had to make it to our destination. We tell the Marines about it, and they're like, the first thing they said, "Did you shoot back?" At what? Like I have no like we there was no orders to shoot someone if their truck bumped into you. Like like man, like that would have been crazy if we just started shooting. The Marines, can you imagine what would have happened if even one shot lit out? The whole convoy would have stopped. That truck would have been lit up. That
Yeah.
truck would have just been, that person would be gone. Just like 30 Marines would have like they would have white phosphorus that truck down into the hollow earth. Like it would have been insane. But so no, it's just like, well, didn't have, so we kicked out the rest of the windshield, and we hooked up the bobtail to the tanker, and we went home. That's it. That's all that happened there. But man, like I mean, talk about trauma. Like I've been through multiple ambushes. I have nothing that is worse than a giant steel door slamming into you while you're driving down the road 60 miles an hour. Like they're like if you saw, like I have an old picture somewhere, I have no idea where, an old picture of the truck afterwards, and it just looks like a box that had been tilted over. like for us to be alive is insane. So yeah. Yep. That's the
I
story.
learned about EMDR. I was having a conversation with a teacher that I work with one day several years ago. And I don't remember how we got onto the conversation, but we were talking about PTSD and trauma. And she was telling me about EMDR. And she was telling me that the reason she knew about it was because she had gotten in a car accident and she had PTSD from the car accident, and that she went and did EMDR with a therapist, and it was very helpful for her. So, trauma, like a lot of the times, I'd say, honestly, I think PTSD, I think that any kind of mental, emotional kind of trauma, at the very root of it is a life threatening, you feel like your life is threatened. And I've
Right.
had arguments with people about it, like, well, no, because like molestation and stuff like that, your life isn't really threatened. And I
Your
disagree.
brain thinks differently. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a whole different thing. So, in my opinion, and
Cheers.
I have an educated opinion, because I've got a degree in psychology. So, in my opinion, trauma, all mental, emotional kinds of trauma has to have some kind of a life threatening kind of element to it. And if you fish
Or maybe
thing up,
danger. Could you say danger instead of, like, maybe life threatening is too extreme? Because I was in a space the other day. Shouts out to Dr. Heath over there on X. I was in a space where we were talking about um, it was like discomfort and being out of your comfort zone. Like I brought up that we look at discomfort as danger, because we're hardwired to be adverse to like discomfort, meaning we don't want to work hard. Like we might get enjoyment out of it. Some people might have a higher work ethic to where they enjoy the outcome of like what they took care of and what they did, versus the more normal human approach, which is the path of least resistance. Like resistance to us in our brains, we almost are adverse to it because it is almost akin to danger in the same way, because you don't want to go through discomfort. And we think of like, I don't know, I'm trying to regurgitate a whole space that we talked about. It was a good one where it kind of I led it in that direction where I'm like, well, look, we think of a lot of things as um, I don't want to do that, and like that's because your brain is thinking something similar, where that's going to be uncomfortable, that's going to be annoying or whatever, and it's almost the same feeling we get from, oh, that's going to be dangerous, because it's just an aversion to trying it. And we think so. The whole point was, when you step out of your comfort zone, your brain thinks danger. You're unsure of this situation, be careful. Even if it's like stepping on stage to talk to people, like, you're not actually in danger, but your brain's sending you these crazy signals. That's where you get that anxiety and you get that like panic attack kind of feeling. And it's like, well, I know I'm not about to get hurt physically, but your brain
Well,
is still telling
let
you all
me
these crazy
let me
things.
just say this. Okay, if you work yourself up, if you're so terrified, have this stage fright, that can be life threatening, because let me tell you how I think of that.
Dr. Olson,
A
what's up?
lot of us, a lot of people rely on, we're social people. We're human beings are social, you know, and we're not created to be an island or whatever. And we have to rely on each other. Some of us, like I tend to be kind of reclusive sometimes. So I'm less reliant on other people than maybe some other people. But we still have to rely on each other. Push comes to shove, we need other people. We cannot survive by ourselves.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people that don't have skills to with the stressors of life, that is very much a life threatening thing. It's terrifying.
Yeah, like stress. You're like,
One of the things that
stress.
I've identified in myself, I've worked really hard the last 3 years trying to figure out my trauma and try to work through it, because I'm tired of living in a constant state of fight or flight. I'm tired of it. It's tiring, it's exhausting, it's frustrating. I don't like myself when I'm like that, because I get bitchy and mean and whatever, and it just tires me out.
Eat a Snickers. Oh, sorry.
That's
Sorry.
hangry, honey.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I've realized is that, and I've known parts of it, but like I didn't understand it in a way that my brain could grab a hold of it and make sense of it in a bigger
Mhm.
context. And I was raised to not be able
Right.
to take care of myself. My parents didn't, at a very young age, my parents didn't take care of me, and I had to figure out my life. I had to figure out how to survive.
Oh, I see.
And
Well,
I
so you learned earlier than some then. A lot of people that have to sort of take it upon themselves earlier in life, they end up being
yeah.
either jaded a little bit, more street smart, I guess, is some in some cases, right? Um,
Yeah, but it's a different thing, because like I knew there's certain levels of being able to take care of myself that I knew. Like I was able to hold a job, I was able to go to college, I was able to do certain things, but I've never felt successful. I've always felt like an imposter. I've had this imposter syndrome thing,
syndrome. Hmm.
where I just never felt like I was competent or, whatever.
I don't know. I feel that too, though. You ever feel that? I don't know how many people feel this, but like, do you ever feel like you're not actually in your, like you're watching your life?
Yeah.
You're not in there. And I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, you could say that's cannabis. That's not the case, really. I think a lot of people have that outer body kind of feel. And I just want to again acknowledge our new guests. Thank you, Lisa May. What's up? How are you?
Good.
Doing well. I like your shirt. Happy something. Happy's good.
Happy
Happy
vibes.
vibes. Okay, I love it.
I kind of got the same background as Kim. My parents divorced at a young age too, and we had a good
Mhm.
life with my dad. And then when he up and left, it was crazy. We ended up homeless. He didn't care about us. He didn't help. Trauma just trickled down from there.
I think.
And now that
Go ahead.
when I became a CNA, I have trauma from watching people die. The first time I seen somebody die and I had to
Hey,
clean
come on.
their body, like an hour later, I like freaked out and threw some coffee in there because somebody came and tapped me on my shoulder. That was traumatizing. And it don't really ever get easier watching people die.
No.
It's like
No,
trauma every time. It's different every time.
I think to that though, we can. I don't want to go too far on that right at the moment, but I think I just had a thought while you were saying it about death is like watching other people die should make us appreciate growing old. Because a lot of people are afraid to grow old. But that's a privilege. Like we've talked about that a little bit before.
It's hard watching people die, and the reason it's hard watching people die is because death is an unknown. And one of the
Yeah.
things that humans like is we like to know and we like consistency. And when we don't have knowledge and consistency, when we don't have some semblance of control of things, then it's scary. And death
Yeah,
is
but let me push back a little bit. You're right, but why is it that we have so much inconsistency and lack of knowledge right now? Why is it we have such an opposite right now? You know what I mean?
because
I
if
think
you,
you're right, but we also love,
because you don't know death.
but we also love to
Dead, you're
explore
dead.
though. We
It's
like
not like
exploring
you
the
die and
unknown.
you come back to life. It's like we're not Lazarus where you die
Well,
and you
maybe
come back to life.
unless you believe in reincarnation or something. But my
Well,
point is though, a lot of people like the unknown because we are explorers. So I think some people are very that well. There's a fascination with death, of course. But let's
yeah.
give Dr. Olson, let's
At
give
the
Rick
same
a chance
time,
to speak. Thank you for coming. I don't know how long you'll be hanging out, so definitely want to hear from you. Thanks for coming up tonight. How are you?
Well, I'm alive to start with.
Yes,
And it sounds like I jumped into some pretty deep
it's a
stuff.
heavy one. It's a heavy
And
one.
a heck of a difficulty of technical problems. So that is solved now. Death is an eventual end for everybody. And I guess everybody's going to handle that differently, whether it's for themselves or for other people. You can't stop someone from dying. So I guess my idea is to console and comfort the people left alive and the people left around them and kind of continue the legacy. So that's
It opens new doors too.
Statement.
Yeah. Well, you might end up becoming friends with someone that they knew over like that shared, loss. And that happens a lot of times where maybe that was what was meant to be all together. Maybe you were supposed to meet their family. Oh, I never met John's family, Oh, now we're good friends. Oh, now I become, like a uncle to so and so. Like, like it becomes like there's this whole chain that you don't know until
that's
later.
how it is with the family I work for now. Like I'm close with the daughter. She buys
There you
my
go.
kids stories, and like
There you
even
go.
after we'll still be friends.
Like I will I don't want to speak on it too much, but with Val, bless her soul, her son messaged me, and I feel like we have a bond over that. I don't know him that well. I'm not saying that I message him a lot, but we've talked a few times, and it's like that alone makes me feel close to the guy, and I don't know him. You know what I mean? So that can be a powerful thing that we don't think about. And the whole like cliche, the Lord works in mysterious ways. Well, that's what that means. It's like we're looking at A and he's over here giving you C. You didn't even know you needed that. You're like, oh crap, thanks, thank you. Appreciate that. I love it. I think it's fun. Go ahead.
Maybe an important thing about dying is it does happen, and what's sad in life is you don't know somebody or seen a family member for 10, 20 years, you go to their funeral. So preventative reaching out is something I always thought, if someone's in a nursing home, visit them once or twice, or or touch a base with somebody, then you get a chance to keep some kind of relationship going rather than 20 years like, oh my God, they're gone, they're dead. I didn't get to do anything about it. So I guess prevention could be a way to help with the loss down the road too, if you continue relationships with people.
Do you guys think that trauma is there's a whole spectrum of it, because we have this whole term snowflake, because there are people that literally will like put themselves into a panic attack over things that the rest of us would think, really? Like, come on, but do we think that's like self-induced? Because I don't know. I feel like that still can be a problem. If you're inducing yourself into a panic attack, it's not, at some point, it's not an act. You can actually,
those are
get yourself to, you know what I mean? Go ahead.
People that have those kind of reactions, if it's not a mental illness or some kind of earlier trauma, those are people that don't have coping mechanisms for dealing with stressful events. Like they don't know how to deal. Like I was having a conversation with one of my juniors yesterday, and he's having some emotional difficulties this year. And we were talking, and he conveyed to me that he's scared, and I told him, I said, baby, you're an 11th grader, which is a time in most kids' lives where they start having a brain development at that age, and they start seeing the world. It's a bigger world, and it's scary. And he knows that it's a big world, and he's starting to see that. He's having that awareness, and it's scary to them. And it gets even worse when they're seniors. Like seniors start freaking out, because they're right there at the door getting ready to get their butt booted out of school. And oh my God.
Yeah. There's a bunch of memes like that where it's like, good luck, your life's about to smack you in the face, or things like that. And it's like, oh, that's funny. Yeah. It's real funny, but why are we not preparing our kids anymore? It's almost like a bitterness of older people looking at the younger people thinking, well, I had to go through it like that, you better too, or whatever. At the same time, on the flip side of that, we have a lot of older people that want to make it too easy for the younger generation. It's so weird. It's like we have extreme opposites going on.
I have a real problem with people that want to handhold kids too much.
Helicopter parents, right?
Not just helicopter parents. I got in trouble.
No, at least, man, we're not counted in this. Go ahead. Like I had to have a leash on my son, and not because
it's different when you have a kid that has a significant disability. So
yeah, that's a different thing.
A whole different ballgame there. But I just got in trouble at work. Okay, I had a situation where I had a young man. This is the second as a sophomore. He had terrible attendance. As a senior, it was even worse, because not only did he have a vehicle, but he had a job, and he was never at school. He had 66 days of attendance period at school. 66 out of 160 days was all that he attended school.
Not even half.
They pressured me into passing him. They were trying to pressure me into passing him so that he
How high up? How high up what? Just the principal, or did it go up to like?
It was admins. It was his case manager. It was admins.
Multiple people. Okay.
Yeah, it was multiple people. And I said, I am not going to be complicit in educational malpractice and pass this kid. He hasn't had services delivered to him. I'm supposed to deliver 249 minutes a week of services.
IEP stuff.
Yep.
Right.
My class was 249 minutes a week, and I had no service delivery with him. So my educational my IEP contract was not in compliance, and he hadn't been at school to learn. And they wanted me to pass him. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that. We just had a major lawsuit in 2019 where some lawyers sued the shit out of the state of New Mexico over this kind of stuff. And those lawyers aren't done yet, because there is all kinds of educational problems in this state that you wouldn't fucking believe. We aren't 49th in the United States for education for no reason. I'm telling you that right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucked up. Okay. And there's a lot of variables in there that cause that, but it's fucked up. And I have ethics. And it's like, I'm sorry, I cannot ethically do this. This kid has not learned my content. And I said,
Well, good for you though, Kim,
no,
because
but you
too
know
many
what? Here's what happened to me.
oh,
So I
was
hadn't heard what
reprimanded.
my teaching assignment was this year for next year, right? Kept waiting. So finally I went to the person that's making the master schedule and I said, hey, what am I slated to teach next year? I haven't heard anything. And he says, oh, probably the same thing you taught this, you've been teaching. And I says, no, I have a feeling it's not. So he looked and he says, oh yeah, you're going to teach world history and US history. I don't teach US history. I have a master's degree in government. I've always taught government. So they took me out of a position teaching seniors because I didn't pass a fucking senior that didn't come to class.
Well,
So
yeah,
I
because now you can't be in that position. Yeah, we got to have a doorway that can be oiled, not one that's just shut.
they're putting
That happens all the time with special needs kids, though. They don't actually leave high school knowing what they should know.
nope.
Right.
So
Well,
they should stop going to school. There should be something after high school for them to continue education.
Right.
Because really, they didn't get their high
There-
school.
there are in most states, Elisa May. I don't know. Your kiddo's probably
What
not.
would that be called then?
Here we have 18 to 21-year-old programs. So for our kids that are like low incidence kids that are have more intellectual disabilities.
I wonder if it should go later though, like 25, maybe.
Maybe
Well,
for life.
We have
Yeah,
18
well,
to
for
20.
life.
Wait a minute. We have 18 to 21-year-old programs for those kids. And where our services leave off, we have another agency that picks up with them and does whatever. That is not my field. I am a behavior teacher and I work with kids that have learning disabilities. So that is a whole world that I know nothing, I shouldn't say nothing, that I know very little about when
Right.
it comes to low incidence kinds of disabilities. But I know that we have services in place in our state for kids that have those extreme disabilities like that.
I think I've seen kids, and I think I remember having some special needs kids that were like 20 that were still at the school when I was in school. But that's still, I don't know. It feels like 21 is still a little bit.
Federal law, everything is dictated by federal law. It's dictated by
Whether it should be or not, I guess.
IDEA is the acronym for the law. It's Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. And that's a federal law that's been in place for, gosh, I can't remember if it was the 60s or the 70s, and they have to reauthorize it every so many years and blah, blah, blah. Federal law says 21, but a student can be in school up until they turn 22. Okay, because they're 21 until they're 22.
Oh, right.
We're still in school when they turn 22. Let's say they turn 22 in December, then they can stay in at least until the end of that school year. You can't just kick them out. You can't just say, okay, you're done now. Bye, Felicia, whatever. You have to be responsible with services and all of that stuff. And every state is different in how they articulate individuals with the IDEA.
Yeah.
And there's also the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, also is another disabilities that also impacts education.
Freezing up a little bit. We got ASB in the house. Lisa May, our favorite rumbler. American
Rumble,
shitbag
rumble.
in the house.
Lisa May, how old is your kiddo?
He's only 11 right now.
Yeah, so he isn't even in high school yet. So I don't know how profound his disabilities are. What kind of services does he get? Is he in a low incidence setting or is he in?
No, he has a one-on-one.
Oh, he has a 1 on. Well, that doesn't mean anything. Does he have an intellectual disability? Yeah. So he is low incidence. So they should have services because it's mandated. Like this stuff is mandated by federal law and states can't get around it. So
I'm
you
sure
guys
you've been looking
have
into it, haven't you?
once you get into high school, things will be different. And they'll explain like what kind of programs they have and stuff like that. And some states have wonderful programs.
I was
States
just
that
gonna say that she might
money.
find a better state somewhere. You might
Yeah.
find a state that's like, I know it's hard to move, but sometimes it's not. Like it depends on what you're looking at. Because I heard, is it West Virginia or Virginia? They have a program right now that will pay you to move there. That's pretty sweet, and that's not Alaska. I know Alaska does some stuff like that, but like Virginia, that's a little bit easier to handle. Like you might be out in the sticks, or I don't know if it's just like a remote town. I have no idea.
If I were inclined to move based on my child having autism and looking for resources for autism, I would go to one of the New England states. The New England states are always been the states that had the cutting edge stuff for teaching students with autism.
We've also got clam chowder. Rick, so what's up, Rick? I want to make sure I give you some more time. Well, have you ever had anything? So he.
I gotta turn my water off outside.
You were a chiropractor for a long time, so that is to me, I think, a lot connected to the blunt force trauma end of things, right? I'll give you. I mean, obviously, you can talk about any trauma that you may have had. But I think your experience at least would be cool to listen from. Like, did you ever? I don't know how deep it goes as far as athletic injuries or trauma would go. Is it possible that you, in the profession of chiropractor, like, would you help to reset bones after they've been broken? Is that something, or is it just the realignment of your bones if they're in like good working order? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it something post injury that would be a thing people do as well?
Well, broken bones might be obviously a totally different level,
Sure.
but
Okay.
people can have blunt force trauma to their neck, and the upper cervical of your brain goes in your top two bones of your neck, so that can cause actually learning problems, trauma problems, depression problems, anxiety problems too. To have a trauma to your upper neck, that's where your brainstem dips down. So sometimes maybe kids have bad falls or amount of falls. They're hyperactive. They can't listen. They can't behave. So adjusting will relax the nervous system and decrease the anxiety behavior. Sometimes it's like a light switch. The light switch gets switched on, and the kid or the parent can't turn it off. Where adjustments could actually help the light switch and help relax the brainstem. So that's one example of blunt trauma to the upper neck.
Now, I wonder if that, well, I think of my son as soon as you were talking about it. I'm like, I don't know if he ever had any blunt trauma, but relaxing the nerves sounds like a good idea.
Well, the average kid can fall 300 or 400 times by the time they're 5 or 6.
Dang.
That's a lot of
true.
falls. It could be a little fall, but it could be falling down a flight of stairs. It could be falling into a wall.
Never even thought of that. It's a crazy statistic.
Maybe micro trauma might be a word.
Man, I saw a kid's head bounce off the concrete once. I know the kid still, like, he's like 11 now, 10 or 11. Seems like a good kid, but man, I watched his head bounce off the concrete, like slipped off the pool, in like a hotel pool, slipped and boop, you know. And then there's all these videos of people that want to, I don't know what it is. People seem to enjoy it. I'll laugh even too, or I'll go, oh, you know. When you see the video of somebody's head just bouncing off of something or whatever, there were some drunk guys, blooper type videos. There were these two drunk guys. The one jumped off of the roof onto a table, missed the table head first, you know, and then they were laughing about it. It's like, bro, that's not going to be good long term, even if you survived. Like,
no, you never heard the term. He was a young wise man. You don't hear that term, do you?
Young wise man, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't a young wise man. wisdom
Not
sort of
too many
later.
of those.
I mean, some traumas, car accidents, you're brain dead. You're, maybe can't ever drive again. Certain cognitive functions are lost. But to give a healthy alternative, quite often adjust the upper neck can relieve a lot of traumas and forces and help the person recover and treatable. Sometimes you go to the doctor says it's all in your head, and maybe it is pinched nerves or different
I think I
traumas.
have that. Mhm. Yeah, we need to talk about that for sure because I still need to. I can schedule my appointment now, but I think I have a major pinched nerve in my shoulder, and I've had neck issues since like wrestling in high school, so that could probably use a major reset. It's going to be
The
like,
wrestler's neck's a horrible thing. I've seen X-rays that are arthritic in their 30s, and
sir,
another thing is I also do acupuncture, and that's incredible
oh,
for depression, anxieties, and stress too. That might be
like
another.
needles, right? Sticking me with needles,
Yeah, I go for Dr. Rick to Dr. Prick.
Dr. Prick. What a Dr. Rick? What a prick! Oh, just
Hey, I resemble that remark.
but how long is an acupuncture needle? Have you ladies said?
They
Have
can
you had
be
ladies said this?
2 inches to 6 or 8 inches. The
Oh
most
my
common
gosh,
the needles only go like a third or half an inch under the skin.
Yeah, they
I'd be
don't.
closer on the 2 inches side.
Have you guys had acupuncture before?
No.
No,
I haven't, but I had a friend that had it. She had some kind of
That's what she said
she
right
had a
there.
slip disc or something in her back, and she did acupuncture for it.
Oh, it's
So
amazing. It's the whole metacard in itself. I mean, it's the most common used type of medical treatment in China, 1 billion plus people, acupuncture hospitals and so forth and so on.
really,
So acupuncture is kind of like this. You got a garden hose, and the hose is crimped. The water doesn't flow very evenly, so the acupuncture releases the pressure, the qi, the energy to the area for pain. For acupuncture is incredible for sleeping. Hi-ya! We'll work on martial arts 101 next session, right?
podcast.
It's something as an alternative though to medicine is acupuncture.
Ooh, that's interesting. I should try it sometime. I actually did get a Reiki massage once. If you've
Okay.
never heard where they don't touch you.
But they still charged you though, right?
No, it was free.
Oh, well, hey.
They
I
don't
only did it. I only went there for
massage you if they don't touch you.
it's they're massaging your cheese and such, your energies in your
Calming your energy, balancing your
yes.
chakras.
They had oxygen going into the air. It was an oxygen bar that has a Reiki massage, and they had an event on Facebook, and I do reviews on Tuesdays, Indoor Farmer Reviews. Check it out. And I just went to this event, and I was like, oh, they do the free massage, and then it's like 5 minutes of oxygen that gets put through a liquid that has like different things like mint or eucalyptus or like sort of medicinal liquids that the oxygen gets put through.
Pennies, herbs, even.
Yeah, and then so the Reiki massage was like there was like calming music, and then the girls like talking to you the whole time, like sort of a meditational sort of thing. You're supposed to lay there like with your eyes closed, and I was like, when do I get to the happy ending? And she was like, sir, I told you before that's not happening, and I was like, oh right, she's like, okay,
no happy ending for you.
no, actually, what happens is it's a Reiki massage. So she says, okay, happy ending, but like she's on the other side of the room. She's like,
we're going to keep this PG, right?
no, this is an adult show. This is an adult show. This is, I keep it pretty PG. I keep it fairly PG, but this is a place where adults can share their experience on the topic without feeling like, without feeling like they shouldn't be. Like we've had people up here with no shirt on, drinking cigarettes, all that. It's not that I want it to be a party. I want it to be comfortable for those people that maybe don't, I don't know, they don't feel like it's okay for them to be seen doing, like, obviously no nudity. We've had that as well. We call it being donged. So we've been donged a couple of times, Dr. Rick. We've had this guy where like his screen was like loading, and at the time I was early on, where I was like excited to get people to come up and share, So I pulled him up on screen, and then boom, unloading, boom, it was you know,
Was he King Kong?
Melissa May remembers. I'll let you.
I didn't think it was real.
I
Oh,
don't think it
boy.
was. I think it was a person, but I think it was actually somebody recording. I think they had their phone turned at like a porn or something, some pornography, and that's what I'm thinking because of the way it looked. But it was insane. I've gotten a lot better at my vetting. Yeah, Red
got
6, come on, man.
You got Donkey Konged.
It was intense. Kasia, hello, come on up.
I want to say I see Red 6 said he uses or she uses a TENS unit. I have one of those. They're fucking
I don't know what that is.
They're like these. If you ever go to your chiropractor probably knows. They're like these.
He's not mine.
They've got little electric.
Yours too.
Buddy.
They have these little patches that they put in an area where you're afflicted, and it sends these electrical impulses, and it like twitches the muscles, and they're great.
Transelectronic nervous stimulation is what TEN stands for. And they can block pain pathways too, especially like low back sciatica. You put in your rear end or your low back, and no Kongs involved. And that will block pain down the sciatic nerve. It can work for your arm. And there are simulations for like muscle fibromyalgia and stuff to kind of like a little massage technique. The problem with the TENS unit is you have to move the spots because after 5 or 6 times, the body kind of reroutes the pain route. So you have to move the pads to different spots. And that will also kind of trick the pain so you don't feel the pain. They are therapeutic. They don't actually fix anything. But if you get chronic pain, use them at night, especially for bedtime, is very good. Help you to get a good night's sleep.
Is this the same technique that is in those infomercial 30-minute abs like gadget thing that you get and you put on your waist and you just sit and eat? You can sit at your desk all day and your abs are being worked.
That's kind of quite a bit of difference, to be honest.
It's electrical though. It's like being
it's electrical contraction. It's just going to take the muscles and contract them and relax them for the muscle tone. And of course, diet's what gets rid of the fat on your belly. But that's more of a gimmick thing.
Just do this and you go, and it's gone.
Yeah, breathe in, breathe out. Wax on, wax off.
Well, like working, they jiggle your whole abs, and you can turn the shock.
It's real. I think it's real though. Lisa May, you think it really works?
Yeah.
Happy Friday's coming soon.
Happy Thursday. Boop boop. Yeah, speaking of boop boop, guys, I want to put it out there. I appreciate everybody's intense participation. It's actually hilarious because I woke up this morning, and so Rick, I don't know if you saw my post. I made a post about needing 1,000 boops. And if what a boop is like Kasia here, she booped us. Boop, hello. And there's been this like sort of chain message, a chain post everybody's been posting that says, I need 1,000 comments and I'll make money and we'll all make money together. And it's like this whole like long post about if you put 3 words in and we each of us 200 people comment 5 times or whatever. Like, is this whole thing about trying to make a few cents on Facebook? I don't know. I think you get like $1 maybe. And so I made my own version, and I was like, I need 1,000 boops or bebops.
Betty boop, boop, boop.
If I do, I will receive many fine furs, and I forget what else, and precious metals, or so I forget what I said. And then I said, they also said all of my wildest dreams will come true. Well, after I made this post, and a lot of people thought it was funny, we all got into it. A whole bunch of people booped me. And I think a lot of people actually gave me a boop thinking that it was some serious post where I was asking. Anyway, a lot of it got some reaction. So I thought it was fun. And then the next morning, I woke up this morning, and the Meta AI had sent me a message, guys. And I'm gonna tell you the message. I did make another post about it, but it was pretty hilarious. I'm going to read it. It says, from Meta AI, what people are saying. The post has sparked a playful response with many comments offering boops and bebops. in various forms, from single words to rhyming phrases. One commenter even offered bee poop. Shouts out to Timothy Martin. And the Meta AI shouted you out, Timothy. And then before providing the requested 1,000 boops. Like their AI sent me, like put this attached it to the posts. None of that's anywhere like very, very little of this is true or even in reality. Like only two things of that statement that the whole thing was like actually real. I didn't get 1,000. Like it's basically says Timothy gave me 1,000 boops. That's not true. I didn't even get 1,000 boops. This whole thing is false. False reality. Anyway,
Gotta love Meta.
Timothy is here.
That's
AI.
That was pretty funny though. I
I
thought
see
it was
Timothy boop boop us.
really summarizing comments. Yeah, it was pretty fun.
He be booped.
He bee pooped, and I thought that was the best one too. The AI picked it out as well. I was like, we
Just
like
don't
this the
spell it
best.
B-O-O-B, right?
What?
Don't spell it B-O-O-B.
Bee boob? Yeah, no. I have a shirt I wear sometimes that says "Doobies for boobies." It's from breast cancer awareness. I think it's.
Of course it is.
Hey, I'm wearing my. This is what I wore to school today.
I wear teal and purple. The
World.
Or someone who
meant.
the world to me.
Oh.
Suicide prevention
Oh, it's
awareness.
a suicide awareness. I actually was looking up
That's
the color
a big
for
deal.
song.
Teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I teach high school, so I have that, and I have another suicide awareness shirt that says to the person behind me, you matter, or something like. I can't remember what it says.
I got one of those too.
Yeah, I
Oh,
wear.
I remember what the topic was on the space was adversity, because I brought up discomfort, and like adversity and discomfort in our brains are very similar. We think of like, oh, I can get over this adversity, and you feel better, you grow, you get stronger from it, or you shrink from it. It's like kind of the fight or flight. It's almost the same as danger, and you guys might disagree with me, but your brain is thinking, oh, I don't want to do that. It's going to be annoying. It's going to be like, it's going to put me through something I don't want to experience. And so no matter how like little and small it is, it's like we're thinking of it as like a big predator or something. It's crazy. Bean, come on up, man. How are you? Guys, anybody out there that wants to come up? I've seen a few people that.
That's the thing that scares me for these kids nowadays. I just see so much of our students that I don't know, we're graduating a lot of these kids, or a lot of kids are passing through our high schools that their parents have paved the way for them. And it makes me afraid of what their lives are going to be like, because they're not going to have the coping mechanisms to deal with life. You can't protect the kids. You can't protect them their whole life,
But that's where adversity comes in. Is like we have to have a struggle to grow, and the whole like cliche.
You have to have a
metaphor
struggle.
Yes, a productive struggle instead of just.
But parents don't want their kids to struggle. They want, oh, my poor baby. I don't want them to. I want to, them to have a smooth whatever. And it's like, oh my God.
They get to learn. My son just said, my whole paycheck's going to be gone because I got to get brakes and stuff for my car. Well, buddy, my whole paycheck's going to be gone too because I got to pay bills.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think the key is to grow through adversity, then submit to it. And sometimes you got to throw the kid in the deep end and let him swim.
But maybe we just talk about it more in the sense that, hey, this is great. You have some adversity to go through. Yes, like what if we like just changed the way that we looked at it? Oh, you got some growing that's about to happen.
Well,
you're about to learn something.
That can be a false thing too, because it's kind of like the whole giving everybody a trophy. Oh, you tried. Let's give you a trophy.
Okay, but yeah, you wouldn't want to go that way for sure.
So you got to be careful. One of the things that we talk about in education is kids need a productive struggle. And a productive struggle is where you give them a task that's hard, but it's not so hard that they're going to get frustrated and shut down because they don't have the skills to be able to problem solve around it. And if you're
Oh, I
going to
deal
give
with
them
that
a
all the
task
time with my
that's
son.
that difficult, then you need to be there to scaffold it for them so that they understand how to work through the problems so that they don't shut down and get frustrated.
I admit I have a problem with that with my son because I want to give him, I want him to come to the conclusion of something, and I'll give him not really hints, but I'll ask him questions in the way that I want him to, and where I struggle is finding that sweet spot where I should stop and go ahead and just tell him what it is I'm trying to get out of him, instead of just no, come on, what is it that I told you? What did I just tell you earlier? Instead of giving him that room, and it's hard because I know that he knows things. It's like you're like scripting everything I say right now, but yet you're not going to repeat what I know that's in there. But at the same time, I don't like it. May not be if it's might be floating somewhere that he can't reach at the moment. He's just not thinking about it.
Well,
He's 9,
yeah, and that's the thing
it's hard.
with
Just have
people
to
that
remind
have
yourself.
autism is that
their brain synapses
different.
are in a different like connected in a different way. Like what
Yeah,
I've been explained
they
to is
don't-
like you have these two highways more or less of your neurons synapses, and we kind of with autism their highways shut down, and they have to sort of take a different route wherever that route might be, and they have to find it. And actually we found that psychedelics, psilocybin, is one thing that can help do that. And they know this because they work with PTSD and psilocybin, and they found that for like up to 3 months after taking psilocybin, it can reroute your neurons around a damaged area, meaning a trauma or a PTSD or whatever the
head injury,
incident
brain
was.
injury.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Or yeah, maybe it's just I don't know if it's a mental trauma or if it was just actual blunt force brain injury, but there is a way that psilocybin helps you kind of use a different path.
Well, mental
reroutes
trauma. Now, let me just say this: mental trauma does brain damage. Mental trauma does brain damage. That's a fact.
Is it because we dwell on something so hardcore
No.
that we make it hurt our brain? What's the?
It's trauma. I'm not as well read on that as what I could be. Like 20 years ago, I saw an article that said
TBI.
that,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I had a friend, I have a friend that was traumatized. She was about 12 with her parents' divorce. She went through hell with that. And trauma damages your brain. It damages your brain. You have scar tissue from it. And
it burns out post-synaptic synapses, like overloading circuits.
Okay, I was just going to say
I don't know how it does it. I don't know how it does it. I don't know what exactly
brain circuits.
But it damaged. You have brain damage from trauma.
Yes.
Trauma damages your brain.
Definitely.
Is that the same thing? Or sorry, Lisa, what was that?
And maybe that's what's wrong with me. Having a disabled is traumatizing.
Mm-hmm.
What about this? The whole
everything about it's kind of traumatizing. Learning to react.
Yeah.
Learn to react a different way.
Yeah, because we have to learn to be different too, even as people without whatever it is. Any parent with even that doesn't even matter. That doesn't even go along with special needs kids. Your kid could be just a different person than you too. And that's a different thing too, because people, we find it hard to cope with our child liking different things than we like, or, that's a weird thing for parents too. I was going, so what do you guys think about the repressed memories or the burying traumatic memories? Is that a result of the damage that's happened to those synapses? We can't reach the memories anymore. I wonder if that's a separate thing. It's a coping mechanism, right? But I wonder if it has to do with a little bit of that. I mean, if you've got the pathway damaged a little bit, then your memories are then a little harder to reach. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not a brain doctor. Shouts out to Dr. Heath out there.
It's probably 80% coping, but there could be a reality to what you said about burning out synapses and memories. But as far as coping and repressing memories, and I guess we'll call avoidance, and then sometimes react to something from the past, not knowing why they reacted. So That's probably a whole podcast in itself, right? Just to talk
For
about
sure.
that.
When I had Dr. Heath on, it was a We Grow Wednesday, and we got into it a little bit. And he's actually really fun because every day he does a midday mindset where they get into brain psychology pretty heavily a lot. And he's only on for an hour, but then he does bigger shows later. But on throughout the day, he leaves, I think, 5 minutes at the end of his show to do the I don't know if I forget what they call it, the reset or whatever, but basically it's a meditative few minutes where he says, as long as you're not driving a car or whatever, if you can stop and just close your eyes, and then he goes and talks through this whole sort of meditative few minutes. It's actually really cool. But man, if you want to get into some brain stuff, I use the technical terms.
Your
Really,
brain hurts.
Yeah. Well, I do get migraines. I have special medication from the VA because of the migraines I have. And actually, I was really, before I had those, I used to eat Advil liquid gels like they were candy, and I didn't even know this, but Advil's not actually the good one to take for migraines. You want to take Tylenol for migraines, and I don't like either one. A lot of people are with cannabis, especially, they say CBD is good for migraines over just trying to, use cannabis. But I haven't done that yet. I haven't taken that plunge because I feel like CBD doesn't do anything for me, which is probably just a misconception in my brain,
CBD does help with headaches, and it causes pain blockers. So it helps with pain too by blocking certain pain receptor sites. And a blend is actually good of both THC and CBD. You can get like a blend that can cause all kinds of great benefits too.
G-Lo, come on up here, man. G-Lo's from X, and now I've seen him on YouTube and Rumble. He's all over the place too.
You're ready to rumble.
I want you to Dr. Rick and G-Lo to meet sometime because I got you to start checking out X. I don't know if you messed around with it that much.
Not enough yet.
But G-Lo is my man over there on X. We're brothers over there from different mutters, and he runs a group on X that he got me in as an admin. Appreciate you, brother. And he's kind of one of the few people I kind of know over there now.
I've gained a foothold. I'll follow him then.
It's kind of like moving. I don't know. I don't want to use a military analogy. It's more like moving to a new place, and you start to gain a foothold with knowing some people, having some friends in the neighborhood. Sure. That's kind of how it feels. And now over on X, I know the people on my street, kind of, but I don't know that many more. And it's fun. It's fun.
Well, I'm going to go. My food's getting cold, but life can be traumatizing. Learn and grow from it.
We do. I appreciate it. Yep. And that's what
I want to say something, Elisa, maybe before you go real quick. One of the things that I learned when I was going through I have a master's degree in special education. And one of the things that I learned over and over again about working with children and families with kids that have special needs is that it's very, very common for parents to carry a lot of guilt because of the way that their child was born or turned out or, whatever, because their child has a disability. And there's a lot of trauma that comes with those guilt feelings. I'm not saying that you carry any guilt or not. In my experience, you run into it with some parents and some parents you don't. But a lot of parents do. They feel guilty. My granddaughter was born. My daughter-in-law had a placental abruption a couple of weeks before my granddaughter was born. And we nearly lost both of them. And my granddaughter spent a month on a neonatal unit. She was on a ventilator. They put a cool cap on her to minimize brain swelling, to minimize brain damage. And when they took it off, she has this small little area on her brain that was damaged from all of that. And they have diagnosed her as she's very high functioning autistic. And my daughter-in-law carries a lot of guilt for that. because she was the vessel that caused her daughter to have these issues.
I don't
And
really carry guilt for that. Like, I don't think there's nothing else I could have done. I didn't do drugs with him. He was born fine. But then right after I had the C-section, when I went to come back to the room, they said he's in the NICU because his O2 dropped. So I don't know if he lost too much oxygen during that time, because I was out of it because I had a C-section. I don't know really what happened, but it's our life. We got to make the best of it. I just grieved the life for him.
yeah,
So
and
he
it's
has
hard.
to-
It's hard, watching your kid have those struggles. I watched my own son with his struggles. He didn't have those kind of struggles as a special ed kid. He had different struggles, but it's hard because, you want the best for your kids. I haven't met a single parent yet, even some of the crummiest parents I've ever worked with, that are just fucked up and they don't know how to be a good parent. Not a single one of them doesn't want the best for their kid on some level. They just may not know how to get there with it. And it's hard watching your kid have those kind of struggles and, being helpless and how to fix it,
I think we can
And
blame
you're pretty
ourselves
much all
subconsciously.
alone too, because really nobody else you know is in that situation.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
all your friends.
Yeah.
But that's life. We'll get through it. Have a good night.
Yeah, might be my time to say goodnight to my kiddos too.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate your time, guys. I appreciate you both coming up. We've had Jason and Melanie are normally on, but they had another event tonight, so it's been a good sesh for sure. But yeah, thank you guys. We got some giveaways still to happen, but bye, Lisa May. We'll see you soon, I'm sure. And Rick, appreciate you. Have a
All
good
right, everybody have a
Your sit.
stress-free night.
Thanks.
All right, bye.
Okay, now I gotta readjust here a little bit. If anybody wants to come up. We still got about a half hour. I'm gonna put up the wheel in a minute, and I'm gonna gain all of your happy likes and put those on the wheel. So anybody that's liked the video and shared it out, we'll get on the wheel. Now I also give I give you a spot for being on Rumble and on X. So G-Lo gets 2 more spots, and I got a little secret that I haven't told anyone yet. Right here, guys. What a conversation tonight, though, for sure. I knew we needed to do something a little bit more on the heavy side. It's we've had a couple of weeks of some more member berries and more fun and nostalgic episodes, which aren't, they're not the lightest. They can be kind of heavy too sometimes. What am I looking for? Oh, here it is. But we were like, well, I got to do something more on the heavy side. I do want to put this out. I want to actually really would like to do a talent show episode, but that's going to be really hard to do with just me and Kim.
Hell no.
So what I'd like to do is maybe get my co-hosts involved, and maybe we all find some talented folks. Maybe I put out a post about it ahead of time and get some people that are willing to come up and show us their talent, whatever that might be. I'm on X and having trouble commenting.
I'm talented at pissing people off.
Jess, I see you there. I already got you from the X. Yep. As long as you hit the like button on the Facebook side, you'll get that. I'll put it on again. But here, check this out. This is going to my subscribers.
I have one of those.
Yes. So I'm gonna give myself a nice fat ding, I guess, and then could anybody use an RO system out there?
I have one of those.
I heard you. You could
Okay.
use 2 though, I'm sure, or you could take
No.
if you win it. If you win it, you could use it as a giveaway. I think you're welcome to have a spot, but I think what I'm going to do, I think nobody. I don't see you or Perry commenting on X. I'm not sure what's going on. If maybe we need to help you out or something. Everyone seems like everyone else is okay over there. You need one bad, Gerald says. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to use this to also grow a little bit as well. No pun intended. I'm thinking we're going to do something similar to what GrowFam TV is doing right now. Yeah, see, we got G-Lo, we've got Margaret. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I thought I had him turned on for everyone. Also on the desktop. I wonder, Margaret, are you on the desktop? Because I see you on Rumble and on X. Thanks, Gerald. Gerald, just as long as you hit the like button on Facebook, and then what we're looking for on X is we're looking for a comment right here. I need a comment from although I don't know, G-Lo, what do you think? Commenting on X inside the video, is it better or worse than commenting outside the video on the post itself, which I think is annoying. There's not really a lot of good ways to describe that to people. That comment video is this Yoda, Jess? Are you is Yoda rosebuds? Just kidding. Oh yeah, this is what I was going to get to. So what I think I'm going to do something similar to the giveaway that GrowFam's doing, trying to boost the new GrowFam TV. I'm going to give people a chance to win that are not supporters, but all supporters will get an additional chance to win. If you get an extra chance to win for being a basic member, you'll get. What was I going to do? I might finalize this later, but I was thinking 3 for a pro member at the $5 members and higher, and then I was thinking 6 for super pro. If you're paying me $10 a month, you'll get 6 chances to win, and then you also will get the 7th chance for doing the invite 1,000 people to like the page and take a screenshot and all that. I'll have to type out a post about it and give you a bunch of hoops to jump through and such. But as long as we get a bunch of invites to the page, maybe some invites to the group or something. I'm not sure what I'll do. The group might be. I'm not sure, but it's going to be something of that nature where people can get a chance to win just by participating, doing the free stuff. But we need that. What is our old? Commenting goes here. Jess, are you commenting in video may not be trackable? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It might be better to comment outside the video, but yeah, it's 2 different metrics. I'm only on here. That's okay, Michelle. You still got on the wheel as long as you hit the like button on Facebook. What is that machine? Oh, I'm sorry. This is an RO system, a reverse osmosis water filter system, Jess. It is the 150 gallon per day system that will give you much cleaner water to drink or use for growing if you want. What is that machine? Okay. Yeah, no worries.
We have really, really hard water here where I live.
Really?
And it helps cut down on all the lime and scale stuff. And I don't use it to drink. I don't drink tap water. But what I do use it for is I use it in my humidifiers. It cuts down on all that crusty stuff that builds up. And I'm excited about my house. So I'm building a house, right? I think I mentioned it. And so I signed my contract and everything. So they're going to start building here in about a month or so. But one of the options that I'm going to have is to have an RO system installed in the house. That's one of the options that I have. And
there's different systems, though.
Well, let me explain what we're doing. Because an RO system, in order to you can't have a whole house RO system. It's
Right.
over process to do that, to run
Yep.
all your water functions in your house. So what they plumb your house. Hey, Nemo.
Get them.
They plumb your house for your kitchen sink and your what do you call it? Refrigerator. The water that goes to your fridge
That's cool.
is plumbed for RO, and the rest of the house is plumbed for soft water, for a water softener.
That's going to be rough on the RO system too, though. Like you're going to have to replace filters a lot.
What the water softener doesn't? They're plumbed separately. They're not
Oh, okay.
run through the other. So I'm super excited about that, dude, because our water is so hard here. It's horrific. Like I have to change my fittings. I cannot tell you how many water hoses have gotten melded to the water fittings because they just get cemented on. It's horrible. It's like we have terribly hard water here. Horrible, horrible. It's like cement. And it doesn't take much time for that to occur.
Hey, Kathy.
So I'm super excited.
Jess has military tanks filled with water for emergency and everything that we use on our plants. Okay. Yeah. I'm actually so I have a 6-gallon pressurized tank that's hooked up to my RO system, and it gives me 6 gallons. That's a little faster to access. And man, I don't know what I wasn't thinking until now, but I was filling up a water sprayer for so long just to go and water the plants instead of just putting a little longer hose on this pressure tank, and I can just go and water the plants right from the RO system, and I don't have to do anything else. It's just
That's
crazy.
cool.
Yeah, little things like that.
Is that what you use it for, is watering your plants?
That's all it is for you. I take it back. I also use the I fill a pitcher up with it now. I use the ice from my fridge that's made with the filter in there, and then the RO water, and then I put slices of cucumber and lemons. I don't slice the lemons. I cut the rind off the lemon. I cut the whole peel off the lemon. A lot of it's actually beneficial to eat but there's the rind is actually beneficial to leave it in there, but it's actually doesn't make it taste good at all. That's for sure. Thank you, Jess. What's up, Misty? Hello.
Yeah, the rind tastes nasty.
We're just about to spin. Those of you that said you liked and shared, I hope it was there before I grabbed it. Perry, you're there. I see you. Okay. Jess, you're on there. Okay. Yep. I'm even on this, but if it pulls up me, I'm not going to take that spot. Good luck, everybody. We're at 1 hour and 45 minutes already. Remember, if you are a subscriber to Locals, theindoorfarmer.locals.com, you get hash and dash immunity. So if you're someone who liked and left and not subscribed, you don't get it. Whoa.
What did it do?
It just my Chrome shut down.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we had another one of those electromagnetic storms. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, there was something. I think
Give me a second. I got to get back in to StreamYard. No, it's not. It didn't stop, Joe. It actually, my browser shut down. Oh, it wasn't just my browser. My OBS shut down as well. My Firefox was still on, but that's weird. Oh wait, I wasn't using that this time. Never mind. But still, Chrome shut down for some odd reason.
Yeah,
Missy, I will add you on there.
we had a solar flare yesterday. It was measured at the hell? X 1.4. I don't know. Class flare, one of the most powerful types of flares, and it caused radio blackouts across US and Western Europe. Yeah, so we had another one of those nasty flares.
X-class flares. Okay. Joe. We got him. All right. We'll try it again. Remember, guys, if you go over to Rumble and like and comment, you get on there an extra time. We do this every Thursday night on People in the Boxes. This is for a game night ticket. So if you are a member of Locals, you'll get an extra spot if you are already going to play. And if you are not a member, you get to try out game night, which last week we gave out 18 prizes. And I can tell you without a doubt, it's about to get much better. So I think I'm actually, instead of doing like $50 or doing like bigger and bigger gifts, I think I'm just going to do more. So I'm going to put my logo, the Indoor Farmer, on the game night wheel additional times. And I think there's a few people I still owe. I think Jess, we need to get you taken care of. There might be a couple other. Oh, last night, I don't think I took care of the winners from last night. Did it? It's still spinning over here. That is crazy, you guys. I have to reshare it. It popped out of StreamYard. It landed on Jess, though. So, congrats, Jess. And she was just saying, literally in the comments, that it was crazy before she became a member of my Locals community that she would hash and dash all the time because she was busy doing this and that. And now she actually ends up staying because we're such an awesome crew of awesome people. Congrats. What do you mean, Michelle? Yeah, it was still spinning even though it got taken off the StreamYard. Smashley in the house. Hello. Thank you for the nerd rope. It came a couple days ago. Okay. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I don't know
I have a meme that showed up in my memories today, and I reshared it. And it says, you might not remember it, but your nervous system does.
Right. I mean, like a simple example would be like fire hot. You have like a almost instinctive reaction now to when you get close to fire, like when you start to touch something that's too hot, right?
Well, it's just like people that were sexually abused and they don't have any recollection of it, and that could be they were abused when they were very, very young or something like that. Your nervous system remembers those things. And a lot of the times, like, you'll have these fears or these anxieties or whatever that'll come from no place seemingly because you have no recollection of something. It's just like somebody who is raped. Let's say that the person that raped them wore a cologne or perfume or something that had a particular scent. And every time you smell that scent, it like takes you back, You may not necessarily have a recollection,
Yeah.
whatever, but it like takes you back in that moment to whatever the trauma was, because your nervous system doesn't forget, your brain doesn't forget.
Let me see if Terry, are you out there? I'm just gonna message him separately. I think he already has a number though. So yes, Terry has number 14. Okay, and it's still there. Okay, cool. All right, so this one is for my subscribers. Of course, what you get if you win is 2.5 times your subscription rate. If you're a pro member or higher, you get to pick a swag bag instead, swag pack. Dang, Jess, dropping the bomb on us here. Yes, when I got held up at gunpoint, we can only see their eyes, or we can only see their eyes. They cover their heads. They cover their mouths. Now you can see, all you can see was her eyes. I didn't forget because it was in my head, and I just brought it all to life. Okay, yeah, I hear that for sure. I did my number right. I will. Well, Smashley, I'll give you your number, but I can't be doing that for everybody. You know, I'd be like, everybody's gonna ask for their number. Yeah, you're in here. You're number 18. Actually, did you win yesterday? Look at this. On my new system, is that all I have to do is go back one page, and I should be able to see who won last. Smash. Actually, you did win last night. So thanks for that like on the We Grow Wednesday episode. You didn't even know you were in a giveaway by doing it, did you? She's like, oh shit, I can look. Yeah, no. Terry, you're still here. I don't know if that's a new message I saw from you. You said, how do I comment on here? I'll hit you up after, I guess, because you're commenting. So think of it like a group on Facebook, and what I see you doing is commenting, like making a post in the group, you know? So you're saying hi, but that's making like a new post rather than commenting on a post, if that makes sense. But I realize they changed it up and that everything looks different now, so it's no big deal. I love you guys, appreciate you. Brenda, what's up? Almost got raped and could smell him for weeks. Wow. Man, that's crazy. I could imagine. Yes, she did win, Jess. Yep. Oh, that's right. Oh, right. Did you know that you won, Smashley? I don't see any group chat. It's not really a group chat though. It's just a bunch of comments on a post with a picture of me. Anyway, no worries, brother. I'll talk to you outside of the show, just because I don't want to try and figure it out right now. It's not even a huge issue. It's I have to help a lot of folks because the app is so different. It's not used to using it, so it's no big deal. Honestly, I don't mind because I still like what Locals does. I like what they're about so far. I mean, every company can change, right? Every company can become more corrupt or whatever. But they do give a larger portion to the creators. I like that. I also like that they're not going to bother me over my political views or whatever. They're not going to harass me like Patreon does with some of their people. No offense to anybody that uses Patreon, but it's just not one I'm going to use for sure.
How does Patreon do that? What do you
So they have literally kept people's money for different reasons because they don't like so look at, well, the GoFundMe, that's a different thing, but I'd have to find a good story about it. But I know that there are multiple artists who have had situations where, because they were controversial and for some reason, that then they would get extra restrictions or whatever it is. I shouldn't speak on it too much because I can't recall the details. So you're right, but I just know of some stories like that. So I'm just going to leave it at that. You guys do your own research on whatever platform you might use. Smashly, I'm not sure what that is, but I appreciate it nonetheless. My computer is frozen over here. Goodness gracious. This here, I don't know what that was, but thank you. It was after she left and she came back. Oh, yeah. She got tagged. Oh, that's right. That makes sense. Really got to get to bed. Okay, Jess. Yeah, we'll be wrapping it up here. I'll let you. Well, I know you won't win because you already won this one. So, but congrats, Jess, on the other win. Get an extra game night ticket. But if Terry, if you're still here, brother, you have a number. You did get in there. I'm not sure if that other comment was before it. Maybe, probably the case. I just now saw it though because I'm trying to make sure we're caught up. Good luck, everybody. Thank you for your support, whether you're here or not. If you didn't hear it earlier, I'll be giving out an RO system, 150-gallon RO system. I think it's something that people can use a little bit more than, say, another, smoking device or another, I don't know. I can't think of another thing. Yeah, I like the clean water. We all need cleaner water to be drinking, if not using for your plants. It's going to be a good one. I'm not sure when I'm going to make the post. I might have time tomorrow, but I'm also pretty busy as well. But I already have the RO system, so it's happening. Whether hell or high water, so it's happening. But I'm hoping that I can give it out in the next couple of weeks. I would say maybe help me pay for shipping if you guys are like if you're in another country, you're definitely helping with shipping because we have at least one Canadian. Number 11. Let's see who number 11 is. Let's see. G-Rod the King. G-Rod the King. Probably going to see Gerald on game night again this week, I'm guessing. Gerald, congratulations. Gerald, are you here? Let me look. He's already here. Oh, yeah. Congratulations, buddy. Sandy, I would be lying if I didn't say I wasn't disappointed. Right. I'd be lying. Anyway, I was disappointed we didn't get to see you to play, so I hope everything was okay Sunday. If you want to play this week, though, boom, you could both play if you want, whatever's whatever. But we got Michelle Paris coming back again to defend her. This is going to be 4 weeks in a row if she wins. If Michelle wins this week, it's going to be 4 in a row. We got to, that train just can't be stopped, I guess. We're going to need some of you all to come up and step up and challenge the unstoppable. I want to come to game night. I'm going to try. Okay, Brenda. I will try to tag you. Apologies if I don't tag someone. I did some tagging today, and typically what I do when I tag is I just tag a bunch of the last people that were tagged, which is typically when you reply to somebody in some other comment somewhere. So that will just be a list of the most recent people that I interacted with, more or less. And so I'll just tag a bunch. I don't have a lot of time to tag, so I just do as much as I can. I didn't even share out to a whole lot of groups tonight. I thought the time I spend sharing out to groups could actually be spent tagging people I know will come here. When I share out to groups, like I might get a couple likes in a group here or there, and it's not really that worth it. So I think I'd just rather tag you guys, tag the people, and then we do the like and share where you guys maybe pull in some other folks that's never been around, which you guys do all the time. Thank you for that. That's why we do these spins. I want to do bigger ones, bigger spins. That the RO system, that's just the beginning. We're gonna make that, if we can get that to grow our community a little bit, we'll do bigger ones. We'll do more of them. If it makes sense, then we'll keep doing it. And this RO system came from Level Up Seed and Garden Supply, which is one of our they're an intermittent game night sponsor. Like I've talked about it before, but they don't have a website and they don't have a lot of merch with their name on it. So I don't want to go there asking for stuff. I feel bad about that. It doesn't help them very much to sponsor me by throwing me items that don't really extend their name out a little bit. So I've talked about that a bunch of times. Anyway, I'm repeating myself. I guess we should get going. What do you think, Kim?
Whatever.
That's what I thought. I appreciate. That's what we appreciates about you, Kim. You need to watch Letterkenny. Anyway, help you win. Smashly, yeah. The you're gonna be anybody that's a pro member, and I'm gonna have to think about it a little bit. It might depend on what the amount you're paying or just the level that you're at, because I don't want to make it too complicated either. But I'm definitely giving you higher chances for being at that higher level. So, period. We'll figure it out. But people that, and actually, heck, I might even give you another spot. I might come up with a whole bunch of reasons to get extra spots. Like someone that's been subscribed to me for 6 months or longer might get extra spot for that, whether you're a basic member or pro member or anything, right? I might do. I think that's going to be what would be cool about it, just to kind of do that, but several times on several giveaways, and give people extra spots for engagement, extra spots for how long they've been subscribed. I think all that would be fun. So it might take me some time to figure it all out. Good night, Margaret. Thank you. Thanks, Margaret. Shouts out to MJ's Baked Goods for donating yesterday to the cause. I forgot who won that, actually. Let's see. Who won MJ's Baked Goods yesterday? They were all four winners last night were subscribers. So shouts out to you guys, because on We Grow Wednesday, it's my biggest audience, and all of you guys, everybody who won is a subscriber, which is awesome. Like, I didn't expect that at all. Mostly because the hash and dash immunities. That's what does it. That hash and dash immunity is what gets you guys those prizes. Elisa May, is this a goodbye? Awesome night. Bath and bed time around here. Okay, Lisa or Ashley. My son's outside of school right now, so he's probably passed out on the couch. He likes to watch TV if he's allowed. If it's a school, before I start the show. He's 9.
9.
He's 9.
He's the same. No, wait.
Mark Gibb, what's up?
He's the same age as my grandson.
Yeah. He's fun. We're gonna get some. I got to get more sticky stuff to add more, put more pictures on his walls upstairs in the sensory room. So yesterday, Ash Groves won the MJ's Baked Goods, and he doesn't even know that he won. I actually might just send Margaret. I might just send you his address, and we'll just send him some. That'd be fun. Let's see, the Food Mist. I donated a bottle of Food Mist, and Tommy McKetta won that, and he doesn't know yet. I think I'm just going to send it to him. And then the Gilf Beans from GrowFam, or from Gardens by Gilf, is going to Brendra Breiler. I don't know if she even knows that yet. I didn't get. I had a really busy day. I still need a plumber. I still need all this stuff, guys. So I know it's excuses, but I will get to it. That's why I write everything down. I still know that Michelle Paris is owed a rig from someone. I won't name the person from months ago, and also a win, a general win. I don't know what from another person that I won't name. So Michelle, if you're out there, yeah, she's here. You know what I'm talking about. I keep track of people and like what they're missing, what they still are owed from me. Let's leave it that way. But yeah, I might not be. I'm like I forget what movie it was where the British lady says, "We're just like British rail, love. We may not be on time, but we'll get you there." I don't know. I don't remember what movie it was, but that's what she said. Was it?
I don't know, but you just sounded like Mrs. Doubtfire.
It was. She was a British lady, and she was like,
You sounded more like a Scottish lady.
or well, maybe she was Scottish. I don't remember, but well, I'm Scottish, but what I think it was a airplane flight attendant, and she was trying to calm down this kid. Anyone out there know the movie? Anyway, that's a good idea. She said that way he can't piff it. Try and tell. Oh yes, yep. Just to send it to him. Yep. That's why he can't pass it on. Pass it forward. Tell me what his thoughts are. I'd be honored. Okay. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, get Ash to do a little taste tester for you. Yes. Good night. I was just going to say he sounded like her,
See?
Mrs. Doubtfire. Yeah, well, you know.
Because that was a Scottish brogue.
I think it was. I think she was Scottish.
Yeah.
Well, just like British rail, love. I guess British Rail is not always on time, but they'll get you there. I don't know. Is that their slogan, maybe?
I don't know.
Anyway, I will leave it at that, guys. It's been a good one. Let's leave it on a high note. I think we had some good conversation for sure. Wish we had a few more people that wanted to come up, but hey, not everybody will until I have lots of money. So thanks, Kim, for hanging out. You'll get the first million of the podcast empire when but no, one day actually no, I'm really happy that Dr. Olson came up because I'm trying to get him to come in and be on Thursday nights because we could use some more like just wealth of knowledge like that, man. So I appreciate like him, you've got a lot of career knowledge and Dr. Olson, and we can get a whole bunch of good people on here. It'd be fun. Anyway, do you have anything? Do you want to? So, guys, go check out Kim's show on Sunday. She does her legit bean review on Sundays, and of course, we got game night Sunday night, 5:30 Central Time.
I think Nancy's doing her thing this Saturday too, right? Is she up this week?
Sure. I'm not sure how. Like which week? Because I always miss it. On Saturdays are not a day for me to be watching shows.
Yeah.
I'm busy. I'm so busy. Fridays and Saturdays are quote my days off, right? But I don't really have days off. Like I don't know if anybody really does anymore, but it's kind of funny. Like when you work in a labor of love, or they even say entrepreneur, you work 24/7 or whatever, 25/8. But it really is like that. It's just that you have to carve time out. I have to literally decide when I'm going to stop work and move over to chores, and I have to decide when, and so without making myself a schedule, these shows keep me on like schedule. They keep me regular, if you will. No, that's not right. That's not right.
Kind of like a laxative.
That should be my catchphrase. The Waylon, the indoor farmer, kind of like a laxative. All right, good night, everybody.
Like a big old enema.
Right.
They have a flu going around, and the teacher that's right next to me, she's a science teacher, and she's been out for 2 days really, really sick with it. And so I saw her today and we were talking, and she says, girl, I had it coming out both ends. She says, I was peeing out my butt. And I was like, oh my God, Brianna, TMI.
That butt pee is a weird sensation. It's
yeah.
Weird. It's like, did I spring a leak? No, that's not. No. Is there something? No.
Did my tubes get intertwined or?
We're your X-Lax team, yeah. Hashtag X-Lax will be tonight's giveaway. Don't do it. Don't do it, you guys. Any kind of looks like a lady. I kind of look like, well, listen, I have a twin sister, Elisa May. Like, I am in touch with my femininity. You didn't know this, Kim?
I knew you had a twin, but I didn't know it was a girl.
Oh, I would love to try to get her on screen one day, but she would not. My mother and my sister, it would be traumatizing for them to come on screen, I think, ever. Just to get a picture of them alone is enough. Good show. Thanks, Perry. I appreciate it. They don't always hit like I expect, and I think tonight was good, but I feel like we could have gone in so many directions. It's hard though when it's just me and Kim for the most part. Kim has her experience and I have mine. So we talked military and teaching, and it's like, there you go. And it's like, I like to hear about other things. There's plenty of other traumas. We've actually had PTSD episodes, and we've had post-traumatic stress episodes, or not postpartum depression. I'm sorry, not PTSD and postpartum depression. We've talked about a lot of traumatic topics. Tonight was just meant to be, pretty general. Anyway, I keep trying to wrap it up. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. If you guys would do me a favor and go to the other socials sometimes, just interact with some of my stuff here and there. If you get a minute, you don't have to read everything. It's most of the time the same stuff you're going to see on Facebook. But I just, I'll rehash it over there on X. Actually, I don't. I've been putting up more posts on Facebook. So check it out. Have a good weekend, everyone. We'll see you later. Peace.